Yo, what's good, everybody? Good morning. What's good with it? It's the morning chat. You already know who it is. It's that guy, Jay Hen. And I'm with you this morning. Oh, yeah, I'm with you this morning. I'm with you this morning. I am with you this morning. It's the morning chat, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And I'm excited about what's getting ready to happen on these morning chats. That's what I'm excited about. I don't know what you excited about. But I'm telling you, I'm excited about the morning chat. So you already know how we going to start it. You know how we gonna move it, how we gonna get it pushing, how we gonna get it popping. I'm just saying, it's time for us to do it, and there's no other way to do it but to just let it be done. I'm just saying. So it's the morning chat. I want you guys to tune in. I want you guys to lock in. This chat is going to be quite dope this morning. I'm all about it. I'm all about what's getting ready to happen on this chat. And this might be a good time for you to get your people in that room. Now I'm just saying, I don't wait on nobody. I'm not going to do it long. So we got the countdown timer already up this morning. And we're going to shoot out and we're going to make this thing happen. Because, again, in case you didn't know, the morning chats are live. And it's time to really get into it. So we're going to go ahead and start the timer. Get your people in. We're streaming on both we're both on multiple social media sites. Be in Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, whatever. We on here. We on this thing this morning. So you got a minute to get your people in for the morning chat. And I think this is going to be a fascinating chat this morning. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. So you got a couple of seconds to get some people. Go ahead and like it. Go ahead and share it. You know how we get this done, get this popping. It is. Start a watch party. Put 5 on it on Instagram. Put some people into the building. Let's see if we can get this thing jumping this morning. I'm excited. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm super excited. 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 Can I say that again? Did I say it enough already? Or can I say it again? I'm super excited for it. So let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. Doing some preliminary checks, so excuse me while I do some maintenance and making some things happen behind the scenes, because that's what we got to do sometimes. Here on the morning chat, you just got to be ready for anything and everything at the exact same time. You feel me? That's kind of how that works. You know what I'm saying? That's how we kind of push it out. Yeah, all of that. No, yes. All right, let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into the morning chat. This morning is going to be one for the not for the faint of heart. Let me say it like that. What you say, man? Let's see. It's not going to be for the one. It's not going to be for the faint of heart. This morning, if you know the second hashtag, this morning we are talking about this wonderful word that is not used in the English language a lot. It is called legacy. And now, I don't know how you feel about legacy. I don't know how I feel about legacy, but I know what legacy should be, what it looks like, what it could be, and what it is. And clearly, this is what legacy simply is. Let's see if we can get something rolling in the background just to make it feel real authentic. Yeah. I think that'll work. That sounds pretty good to me. All right, it'll work. Yeah, man. That's going to work this morning. I'm with that. All right, let's jump into it. Let's talk about this word legacy. Legacy. When you think of legacy, you think of something that has already, that once was and has already moved on. You think of something, a great story, a great point of interest. When you think of legacy, you think of something that is being left behind, and that's just what it is. The question that I want to pose this morning is, how are you leaving your legacy? And the truth of the matter is, a lot of us don't even concern ourselves with legacy anymore. That's why we have such a disconnect in between generations, because the lines of legacy are no longer being left. And legacy can be a very good thing. It could be a bad thing. But this is what I found out for society now, especially the culture of the church. We are more apt to talk about a generational curse than what a legacy was supposed to be. And we are very infatuated with these generational situations that are always of the negative connotation. Like, we always want this is a generational curse. We got to break the generational curse. Generational curse. Generational curse. Why is it that when we think of legacy, again, we got our mind in the right spot when we think of generational as in something that's being left behind for someone that is to come. We have our minds in the right spot. The problem that I have is that we only use the word generational or even talk about legacy in a negative sense. So the problem and the question I pose to you is, what kind of legacy are you leaving behind? Like, what exactly are you leaving behind for the generations to come? What are you leaving around, not just for your children, but for others like that will come behind you and hear of your story, hear of what you did it once upon a time. Truth of the matter. And there's a lot of people that we had back in the days that we could talk about that were very, very integral in our growth. Be it teachers, be it family members, be it church members, be it mentors. We have a lot of people that we can honestly say were a major contributing factors to us being where we are now. But that makes me ask the question, how are we returning the favor for those who took the time to be with us and the ones that took the time to help shape and mold our mindsets? How are we going to return the favor to those that took the time to pour into us when everybody else counted us out? And again, the word is legacy. What are we doing to leave a lasting legacy? So this morning, the chat is going to be about this word, again, that's commonly not used in the culture anymore. And again, when you only hear the word legacy or the words that's in regards to legacy, you're only talking about generational curses. Nah, what happened to having generational wealth? There's another word that can go behind generational. What about generational abundance? Generational, like you have to be able to put these things together. Like, you can start a trend with generational education to where people that are coming behind you are now obtaining knowledge that you may not have had a chance to obtain. You found the key. See, and that's the thing about it. Where you are at this current moment, your generation may have the key that you may not even use to unlock the door. But you have to leave a legacy or you have to leave something for the next generation to actually be able to unlock a door so they won't have to struggle like you. We're in Black History Month, and just the truth be told in this sense, when you talk about legacy, you look at all of those who have paved the way during the civil rights movements, the boycotts, the many times that they were beaten and sprayed with hoses and dogs sicked on them. They left legacy behind because they wanted to make an impact for the generations to come, even though some didn't get to see the change in their time. The impact that they left a very lasting effect on what we have. Generational entrepreneurs. Let's talk about that. Come on, Tawana. That's just what it comes to. We have to begin to talk about things that are going to be positive and impactful to those that are coming behind us, because truth, we don't honestly talk about legacy like that anymore. And so I have a couple of questions that really, really will help us streamline this conversation when it pertains to legacy and how you are leaving a legacy, how you're going to be viewed going forward. And this is an easy question, I would say. First question, are you being yourself? And this question is a little bit hard for most people because people want to be everything that they're not, all for the clout of social media. Let's talk about this for just a second. I'm not going to dwell long on it because we already know the long-lasting effects when it comes down to that piece. And people get a little anxious and get a little upset when you start talking about this kind of stuff, right? For some reason, the social media world and age has created this space for you to become whoever you want to, whenever you want to be it, with I'm talking about unapologetically. You don't have to adhere to no guidelines. You don't have to work hard for it anymore. All you have to do is get one viral video. All you have to do is become one viral sensation, and I found out that you'll be everything that you're not in just a matter of minutes. And that's what we are really, really focusing on. Trying to be the best social media star that we could possibly be. And truth be told, if we were just to take a poll around the world and just let the truth be told, a lot of us, the lives that we show and live and display on social media are completely adverse to what it actually is. Oh man, that's kind of a bummer, ain't it? Oh man, did I just reveal some secrets or something? I didn't have to say that. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't have to say that. Yeah, I did. I did have to say it. Yes, I did. And I'm going to continue to say it. A lot of the lives that we're living on social media, I'm going to be honest, that's not who we are. And so here I have to ask the question, in order for you to establish a legacy, in order for you to establish something that looks like what you are, you have to first be yourself. You have to be yourself. Oh man, you didn't know? Oh man. When you were made, if you just want to be a Bible reader, you were wonderfully and fearfully made by the hands of God. He intricately put you together that you don't match anybody. Even twins have a different set of fingerprints. So how amazing of details do you have to go through for twins to have a completely different set of fingerprints? You were made to be you, individually you, like you are you. And the problem that we can't leave behind legacy is because we don't know who we are. We don't have anything else to leave behind or nothing else to offer for that matter. Are you being yourself? That's my first question to you today. Let's see if we can roll through another one of these questions that irritate you. How are you making impact? Now, this is not for the faint of heart. Let me make sure I go on record and say that. It's not for the faint of heart. This one is not for the faint of heart. Because it takes great people to make wonderful impact. And if you're not making, and I have to ask the question again, because the impact that you're leaving, somebody is paying attention to you whether you know it or not. And they're paying close attention to you because you have to make impact in this life. Somebody is always watching you. You are responsible for somebody else's growth. You're responsible for somebody else's moving forward, their encouragement levels, their education. To some degree, we are all responsible for somebody else. And if you don't watch it, the things that we do and that we quote unquote don't understand that we're doing can cause major detriment on generations to come. So the thing is, how am I making impact in the environment and the spaces that I'm in? That is another question that I had to ask this morning. I'm just asking questions this morning. Can I ask questions? Y'all don't mind if I ask a couple of more questions, right? You don't mind if I ask you. Well, let me ask you another one then. What does the dash represent in your life? What is that dash going to represent in your life? And I have to ask this question because this question is probably one of the hardest questions that can ever be asked. What is that dash going to represent in your life? You do know that there is a moment that you're going to come into this world. There's a moment that you're going to exit this world. And there's a dash that is going to go between those 2 years. And I have to ask the question, what is that dash going to represent? Is that dash going to represent a lot of chaos, a lot of wasted time, a lot of foolishness? Is that dash going to represent entrepreneur leadership? Is it going to represent situational encouragement for somebody? Is it going to represent something great that you've done? Or is it just going to be a dash to say you were here and now you're gone? Yeah. What is that dash going to represent? I have to ask the question again. What is that dash going to represent? Now, the last question that I have to ask, and pertaining to this conversation on legacy, is can the next generation benefit? Now, can the next generation benefit on the idea that you came up with on today? Can the next generation benefit from the wisdom that you passed on today? Can the next the generational wave that comes through benefit from anything that you've done to impact this world? And that's a very heavy question. It's a weighted question because a lot of people don't really care to make impact like that anymore. A lot of people people exist and it's a selfish generation. Let's talk real talk. And then I'm gonna get off to this morning. This is what I'm gonna do. The generations in which we live in now are selfish. It's all about what I can get for the moment. It's all about me. It's about mine. It's about what I want to do, and I don't have to do what you want me to do, and I don't have to do anything for other people. But the problem is we don't even realize that in creating this weird culture, you're killing the next generation. Everybody asks the question. I love to hear the older generations talk about the new younger generations that asking, well, I've never seen people like this. I got a news for you. The newer generations are a byproduct of the older generations' lack of preparation or leaving something of legacy for the new generations. So the appreciation for money, the new generations don't have the appreciation for money like that because we didn't even teach them how to appreciate money because we were too busy tightly holding it in our hand. They don't have the appreciation for the elders because we don't have the appreciation for the elders. So you got to understand that these generational chains, when you talk about legacy, they breed other situations that can be detrimental to the survival of the generation or the culture as a whole. And so many people are messed up in this day and age because there are people that came before them that did not prepare them for what was to come. And of course, we didn't know what all was going to happen, but we didn't even give a foundation on which they could stand on. Like I can remember my grandmother and them taught me about the goodness of the Lord years ago. The elders that were in my life taught me about how good God was years ago. Now, they didn't have much money. They didn't have much material things, but they gave us the best of knowledge that they had. Didn't have the greatest level of educations, but all that they knew that had been working for them, all that they knew that had been really, really structured to keep the family piece together, they poured that into us, and it kind of kept us together. But what we did was we had to get a lot of stuff out of the mud ourselves. We had to work hard for a lot of the things that we had coming to us, and because we had to work hard for it, we got that, it's mine, I'm going to keep it, I don't want to do nothing else with it, I don't care about nobody else. And that was a problem that was created for the generation that came after us, the entitled generation, that people begin, and that was a mess up on our end because we made one statement in this generation that totally messed up the next generation. And if you don't mind jumping on this with me, I'm going to jump into it and say it like this. I want my kids to live better than I live. I'm going to give my kids what my parents couldn't give me. And this is the problem. It was good. We were able to do that. You were able to give your kids what your parents didn't give you. You were able to give your kids what your parents couldn't provide for you. But what you forgot to give them was what your parents did give you. They gave you understanding. They taught you how to love one another. They taught you how to work hard for what you wanted. But we didn't. We gave them so much. Now the entitled generation is completely out of whack because they always have been handed what they've obtained. So I asked the question again. We're talking about legacy this morning. I have to ask the question again. What you have in your hands now, can it benefit the next generation? Before you leave this world, what can you provide for the next generation that will set them up for success? Even if they don't have all of the answers, even if you don't have all of the understanding, what can you give them that will set them on a right path to grow and be better than what you are at this current moment? You know, we get kind of selfish, we say forget everybody. It's about me, myself, and I. Okay, I'll take that. It could be about you, yourself, and I. But I do want you to understand, when it's you, yourself, and I do want you to understand that when you close your eyes, that's going to be the story of your life. Your legacy is going to say, me, myself, and I. Yeah. That's it's kind of depressing when you look at it, huh? It's kind of bad when you look at it like that. So again, we're talking about legacy this morning, and I have to ask the questions again, just running through it, and we're going to end the chat this morning. Listen, are you being yourself? When it pertains to the word legacy, are you being the best version of you that you could possibly be? Because the only way that you can give somebody something totally different that nobody else has is you be you, because you were created so unique that no matter how many people can do what you can do, they cannot do it like you. So what are you giving them? Are you being who you were designed to be? That's the first question when you're talking about this word called legacy. Next question is, how are you making impact with what you're able to do? In any facet of your life, how are you being impactful for the generations to come? How are you being impactful for the people that are around you now? Are you just existing, or do you actually have purpose on your life that'll help somebody propel to their next level? That's question number 2. Question number 3, what does that dash represent? Because again, you're going to have a year that you were born in. You already got it because you're here and you can see this. There's a year that you're going to get out of here. You won't be able to see it, but we'll be able to print it. But there's a dash in between those 2 years. What would that dash represent about your life? What is going to be said at the end of your days? How did you impact somebody enough to where they can remember something that you said, something that you did, something that came through your stream, that came through your life, that came through your gates? Like what? How can they remember? What is that dash going to represent? Is it going to be something of positive effect, or is it going to be something of complete chaos? What is that going to what is it going to represent? And finally, ask the question, can the next generation benefit from the legacy that you're leaving behind? There's a couple of questions that, we don't have very many answers to them anymore, because again, the word legacy is not a word that we use on a daily basis. We don't really talk about leaving nothing for the rest of the generations. We don't leave anything for the people to come. We don't leave anything because we are all concerned with me, myself, and I. And I got news for you. If you are the one that, it's a real strange person that says, we do it for the culture. We want the culture to move ahead. You find the bread and everybody around you is starving and you don't show them where the bread is. But you did it for the culture. Legacy. How are you writing your story? What are you saying? Like what is your story saying to somebody else? What is your life presenting? Like if somebody had to sit back, watch what you were doing and begin to write your story, what would they say? What would your legacy leave behind for the next generation? What's going to happen to the generation to come if you were the only person that could be the saving grace for the generation? What you were doing at this very moment, how would that next generation look? It's a good question, right? Way to think. If it's not a good answer that you found, you got some time to change a few things. You could change it today. Leave a legacy for somebody. Because truth of the matter is, you can be impactful in places that you will never see. You can get the keys to doors and unlock processes for the generations to come that they may never be able to obtain. Make sure you're leaving an amazing legacy for yourself. And that's the morning chat, y'all. That's the chat, y'all. That is the chat. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and doing exactly, doing what we do best. You come into the morning chat, we get a few little things going, and we get up out of here. So this is what I need you to do for me today. Find somebody, encourage somebody, put something into somebody's life today, and leave something of legacy, leave something of value, leave something of yourself that they will never be able to forget. They will know that they came in contact with somebody to make impact on their life if you decide to open your mouth. Leave legacy. Your legacy doesn't have to just be your children. Doesn't just have to be your bloodline. But the impact that you make today could be the change that can be needed for tomorrow. It's the morning chat, y'all, and I'll see you all on the next chat.